Hello there, welcome back to Live Before You Die channel, and in today's video I'll be talking about an amazing book with the name of The Art of Happiness, which is a compilation of series of talks between famous American psychologist Howard Cutler and His Holiness Dalai Lama. So without much ado, let's start the video. So now this becomes very interesting. Looking at the title of the book, you would expect that this book will talk about some quick fixes about happiness, or this book will give you some to-do list that do this, do this, do this, and then you will achieve happiness. But on the contrary, the first few pages of this book only talks about suffering. His Holiness Dalai Lama says that in Buddhism, it's said that whomsoever comes into this samsara means the world. So whomsoever is born will eventually face suffering. So we are all here to face suffering. So whenever we try to find happiness in a world full of suffering, we often reach a dead end. So now the question is how to find happiness. His Holiness Dalai Lama states that first of all we must accept and embrace that there is and there will be suffering all around us. Number two, he says that suffering is eventually not that bad because suffering will bring humility and compassion in human being. And he goes on to talk about the good aspects of suffering. And one of the quote that is stated in this book from Martin Luther King is, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." And an example is given from the history. During the 30 years of Borgia's rule in Italy, there was a period of warfare, suffering, bloodshed, terror. But what Italy produced in those 30 years was Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Renaissance. And on the contrary, Switzerland was having peace and they were having 500 years of democracy. And what they produced in those 30 years was just a cuckoo clock. In Hinduism and Buddhism, suffering is actually said to be the result of own past karmas. And suffering is actually seen as a catalyst for spiritual liberation. Next, this book talks about happiness. So it says that happiness is a state of mind. It all depends on how we perceive the things. It's been depicted through an example. For example, a person is earning a good amount of salary and he's doing well in life. But the day he will compare his earnings to that of his friends who is earning more than him, he will invite suffering. And on the contrary, if he compares his earning to that of an underprivileged person, he would see there is so much blessings and he would be filled with gratitude. So a person is happy or sad. It will never depend on the situation, but it will depend on the perspective that he takes of that situation, which will make him happy or sad. And there's another very interesting story that talks about perspective. This is about a monk who was a very emotional guy, and he used to get hurt and he used to get depressed whenever somebody used to insult him or bully him. So he went to his master and asking that, "Master, please help me with this situation." And his master said, "Okay, you are on training with me for next 3 years. All you need to do is whenever somebody is bullying you or insulting you, just you need to hand over $100 to him." So monk did just that, and after 3 years, the master said, "Okay, your training is over. Now you are a free man and you can go anywhere and you don't need to pay now." And now this monk went to a city. And what happened was there was a guy who was sitting on the door of that city and he was insulting each and every person who was going inside the city. And when he met the monk, he insulted that monk. And this time, this monk really laughed at that guy and he really laughed at himself. And that guy said, "Man, insulting you and you are laughing. What happened to you? And that monk said that actually I'm laughing at you and I'm actually laughing at myself. Because from the past 3 years, I had to pay rupees 100 for every insult. And now this is for the first time in past 3 years that I don't have to pay for any insult. So this training changed this monk's perspective. He was the same monk, the situation was same, but instead of feeling depressed, he now became happy about getting insulted. So this book talks about all other perspective of life like fear, guilt, anger, self-esteem, and the purpose of life. And this book is definitely a life-changing book and would definitely give you a different perspective of happiness. So with this, we are coming to the end of this video. I hope you like this video. So stay happy, stay calm, keep the faith. Goodbye.